Welcome to SFN, your preeminent source for space and defense news and all things tangentially related. We're your hosts, loyal to the foil, here at Houston Mission Control, and we've got Alara of Sirius in low Earth orbit, and we're here live every Sunday night.
Hello, and welcome to another Space Force News Live. Space Force! I am Alara of Sirius, and this is my co-host, Loyal to the Foil.
Loyal to the foil.
Yes, and she's got her fabulous white hat hoodie on, I have to say.
Yes.
So
white
awesome.
Hat.
I don't
Right?
have my white hat fanny pack yet, but I'm gonna be so stoked today I finally do have it.
What up, white hat?
Right? What up, white hat? Perfect. Yeah. So anyhow, hello space peeps. It's good to see you. Everybody having a fantastic Sunday night. Like so many happenings right now. Like so much going on, right?
The happenings.
The happenings.
The happenings.
Mm-hmm. Craziness. RBG. Out. Peace
Man.
out. Gone.
Deuces.
Deuces. We didn't really just
What
do
you want me
that.
to say?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it happened. So,
Peace out.
Hey, Neo. Hey, Christina. Hey, Keystone. Kate. Cads Potter. Todd. Mr. Fox. Laura. Drinkwitessa. Who am I missing? Miracle Girly. Wise Mama Bear. It's good to see all of you. Here we are. Sunday night, you know?
Yet again.
Yet again. Space Force News Live.
Woohoo.
Right? One of these days, we're going to come on here, Foil, and there's going to be like, they're going to have decloaked the ships, and we're going to be like...
Oh, man, listen, we got to
Tonight.
be on site for that. We got to be at the decloaking, I think. You know, followers, we got to go film
You
it.
think we'd be even on here if the decloaked the ships was outside and we have
Man,
like the Independence
listen,
Day situation
you
going on
wouldn't
out
find
there?
me for like 3 months. I'll text you from the bunker like, yeah, I'm all right. Here's my coordinates.
You really
if you
gonna
can
go
make
in
it.
the
Good
bunker?
luck.
You ain't gonna stay outside? Hey, I'm going outside.
Well, until I see what the lay of the land is, I'm going to the bunker. That's it. That's
Until
all.
the little androids jump out the craft and start running
Man.
around trying to hit people with ray guns, I'm good. I'm gonna be eating my popcorn in a lawn
I'm not
chair,
even
just
trying
like
to see.
what?
See, this is where we differ. I'm not giving. Nobody's getting the opportunity to jump on me. I'm gonna go into the bunker and assess the situation from afar, and then I will determine.
How are you gonna
the proper
assess the
course of
situation
action.
from your bunker, Foil?
Man, I don't. We're gonna have. We'll have
Twitter?
some. But right? Can I come out yet, guys? Is anybody alive out there?
That's what
What's
Twitter's
happening?
for.
I don't know. We'll get
So,
some
yeah.
scopes and such, you know. Woohoo for tech. Speaking of tech, we got a little
Elon.
rumble brewing. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there seems to be a brewing Twitter beef in the least between our favorite evil overlord, Elon Musk, and our least favorite evil overlord, Bill Gates.
Least
How about
favorite is
that?
putting it mildly, my friend.
Man, right? I
Yeah.
told you my theory on him.
Yeah.
He's riding the horses, yo.
Right.
This guy. Yeah, he so apparently this started
She
when
thinks he's one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, guys.
I thought he might be the Antichrist, but now I'm thinking he might just be a horseman. You know? I don't know.
Right.
What do you guys think? I mean, personally, I'm riding with Elon. You know, if I've got to pick, you know, our
I'd take Elon over Gates
Yeah.
any day.
I mean, well, see, here's the thing. Gates got mad because Elon called out this whole 19 nonsense.
Right.
Said the lockdowns were ridiculous, whatever.
Yeah, he's not
Bill
liking the
Gates started-
Patriot tweets coming from Elon.
Yeah. He was big. He was big mad. So then he kind of came out of his territory there and started talking about electric trucks, that they would never be sufficient for long-term transport. And Elon tweeted like, "Man, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Like, you know nothing there." Right? So apparently they took it up a whole nother level this week. Bill kind of gave him the engineer treatment, like on Big Bang Theory. You've got the physicists that make fun of the engineer. Yeah,
Right.
Bill Gates apparently thinks he is the physicist in this equation. Said Bill Gates. He said Elon was nothing like Steve Jobs. So I guess we'll see what's next with that.
You know.
Like Steve Jobs was some great, like he's the tech guru guy.
Right.
Elon's like literally building the stuff with his own hands,
This
sleeping
is
on the
it,
floor of his
man.
factory.
I've said this
at least
before.
he's got his heart in there.
This is the singularity, man. This
We're
is when
getting there.
you get to pick. You get to pick which way you're going, man. And I'm going with
Right.
with super light body, and telekinesis. That's where I'm going. I don't know
You know
about
me,
everybody else, but that's where I'm going. So,
I'm catching a ride on the J train.
right. Well, I mean, same
Off
difference.
this rock.
Right.
Right.
So,
Get us out of here.
all I know is I am not going to be chipped, and I'm not going to turn into a
good
gray
Lord, no.
fetus. I'm just saying.
Not happening.
I'm
right?
not doing that.
One of them things in the back of your neck,
Yeah, I'm
stuck
not
in a
doing
little tube. No, I'm good. Right.
Nope. That's
I'll be
definitely
in the
not what I'm
bunker.
doing. So yeah, hey, I'm gonna be outside in the lawn chair. I'm not gonna lie. Look,
Shh.
all right, we'll just.
When everybody else is out of ammo, I'm gonna be down there like, ho, I got this now.
I know you too. That's you all the way.
I'm gonna wait until the rest of you guys are spent.
Right.
Right.
So what else is going on that besides?
Oh, look! Miracle Girlie says she thinks that he's pestilence too. That's what I said. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Well, he's bad. I know that he's real bad.
Man,
and
bad
and
business.
He can go now. We don't need him around anymore.
Right.
He can leave. But hey, everybody's got free will. They can make their choice. If they want to go that direction, they're free to go that direction.
Oh, just leave us out of it.
Just leave me alone, and I'm good.
Right.
So I think humanity's waking up, though. Look. I think humanity's waking up, and I think we're gonna hit that. That.
I saw your 10% 100 monkey thing
It's
you
the
had on
truth.
Twitter.
It's the
right.
truth.
We just gotta get 10% of the people.
Yeah, 10%, and then we hit the 100th monkey, right? For those that saw my tweet, and we reach critical mass. When we reach critical mass, we go through a quantum leap, and that's it. It's game over. Like, and it's only
Quantum leap.
10%. Like, it's not.
That was an
everybody.
awesome show.
It's only 10%. That's it.
Yeah, that really isn't.
We can do that. We got this, guys. I know
Yeah,
we're
we
all
got
getting
this.
tired, but we got this. Like, we're good. We're gonna have a whole new world. Like, a whole new world. We just gotta keep at it. We're gonna get there.
Like, breathe in the light and breathe
Right.
out the dark. Right? Yeah, that's my mental imagery.
Breathe out that which does not serve you.
Right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right. So back to the news. How's
Right.
everybody doing? You didn't know you were gonna meditate today, did you?
Right? Steer
right.
this back on
Right.
track.
All right. Well, it gets to me sometimes. All right. So jumping into Space Force news.
A lot of
broken-
news this week.
Broken Sergeant says, what about the Air Force announcing they designed and built a new fighter jet with no one knowing about it?
Oh, we got you.
We're going to be covering that, Broken
We
Sergeant.
got you.
We got you. Yeah. So
Right,
let's jump
don't
into
you
the
worry.
Space Force news first. Let's go there. And look at this new nifty thing I got for you guys. Now
I know, look
now
at
when I
you.
read the articles, you can see my nifty little head popped up with my microphone. I leave my spaceship and I become the narrator on the page. So,
Right?
yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
It was totally accidental, but hey, might keep it,
Whatever works.
I know. So, if I can ever get my mouse to... Okay, so for our first article, Space Force issues $298 million contract for new anti-jamming satellite design. Pacifically, right, Kate?
Specifically.
Did you catch that on Pink Patriot podcast last week? That was funny. Kate said
Same thing.
Pacifically. Yeah, it was hilarious. And then
Pacifically.
I kept ruining words, and it turned into like I don't know. We both were mutilating words. It was hilarious. Okay.
It happens.
So Northrop Grumman was awarded a $298 million rapid prototyping contract to design a new anti-jamming, I have problems saying that, communications satellite payload for the U.S. Space Force. The Space and Missile Systems Center announced on September 16th. Under the contract, Northrop Grumman will build a payload for the Evolved Strategic SATCOM program, a new generation constellation that will provide secure, jam-resistant, survivable communications for military leadership all over the world. The new system will be interpolable. That is a strange word. I don't know what that word is.
Interpolated? I can't see
No.
that far.
The new
and I
system
can't see
will
the
be
article.
interpretable. Anyways, with the advanced, extremely high-frequency satellites currently in orbit. The Space Force wants ESS to have enhanced resilience and cybersecurity capabilities, and unlike AEHF, the new satellites will have polar components to provide communication over the Arctic. Currently, the enhanced polar system satellites are used to extend the AEHF network to the polar regions. The Space and Missile Systems Center could award up to 3 rapid prototyping contracts in 2020, according to the Space Force fiscal 2021 budget request, before selecting a final contractor to build out the constellation. It is not immediately clear how many ESS payloads would be in the constellation or what satellites they'll be hosted on. So, yes.
That's a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money out there
Super
for,
big.
right? You said over the Arctic.
Right.
I wonder what they're doing out there.
Right? That's what I was thinking. What's
super secret stuff?
I wonder what is going on with the whole Arctic situation. Then you had Carrie taking another trip. Didn't Carrie take another
That's
trip?
got to be, recently I thought, that's got to be one of the first things that they'll give us, right? Before they decloak the ships.
Right.
They're going to, right? I would think, I mean, at least, you know,
get some
they'll probably come
some
with
Antarctic disclosure.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't know. That's what they say, but, you know. I don't know.
Well, all that stuff is allegedly melting, so they're going to have to say something
They're going to
soon.
have to say something about it. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to say something.
Right.
So what we're going to get first, I don't know. It depends. I guess it would depend on what setup they got already together for the whole free energy thing. Now, look, I've seen a lot of stuff over the last couple years with the Department of Energy releasing certain little tweets. I can't tell you what they are right now. It's been a while. But little indications that there's another system coming online.
Oh,
And
listen, the DOE, that's a good account to follow, and that's a good group to watch,
yeah,
because
of course. Go follow
you get a
it.
lot of indicators from them.
Oh yeah, totally. So so next we have we got some NASA news. You know, guys, know how much we love NASA, right?
Never a straight answer.
Right? So NASA administrator to discuss collaboration with U.S. Space Force. NASA Administrator Jim Burdenstein will participate in a virtual discussion on the agency's collaboration with the United States Space Force at 9:30 a.m. EDT Tuesday, September 22nd. This Space Power Forum event will stream live on NASA television and the agency's website. General John J. Raymond, Chief of Space Operations for the U.S. Space Force, will join Bridenstine. Well, that's Biden's? No, Bridenstine. I thought it was Bidenstein. In this discussion, hosted and moderated by Mitchell Institute. I need glasses for aerospace studies as part of its Space Breakfast series. Space Breakfast series.
Space Breakfast
Have
series?
you heard of this before? The Space Breakfast series?
Yeah, I have not, but it sounds like something yeah, it sounds breakfast and space. That sounds great.
Sounds like
I
something I'd
definitely
be
want
into. Right.
to know all about that.
I just want to see what they're talking about, you know? So as NASA advances its plans to explore the moon under its Artemis program, the two will discuss areas of collaboration that include support for human spaceflight, emerging space transportation standards and best practices for safe operation in space, scientific research, and planetary defense. Well, there you have it. Planetary defense.
They're going to say it's for, you know, the Russians and the Chinese. But I mean, if we're defending the planet,
so
you got to it from something else.
You know, NASA has a secret space program, right? Well, it's allegedly, it's rumored that NASA has a
It is rumored, allegedly, right?
Right.
Reportedly.
So,
right. I mean, logistically, I can see where, you know, it makes sense to try and even bring all of these things under the one banner. It makes it a whole lot easier to maintain the flow of information, but also, you know, just to know where the money went, know what the people are doing, like lose some of that compartmentalization that we get all the time.
Do you think we'll ever get to find out? Do you think we'll ever get to find out what happened to all the money that Rumsfeld was supposed to?
Man, no.
Right before 9/11. Do you think we'll ever find out, though, even after disclosure and decloak the ships, Foyle? I'm just saying. Do you think we'll ever get an accounting of where that money went, or do you think it's just permanently?
Not. Yeah, there's no way. Now, we'll see some of the things that came from it, I'm sure.
Right.
But are we going to get, are we sending in the space accountant? I highly doubt that. Nobody's going to want to answer this,
right? The space accountant with the PhD in space. What was it? This PhD,
right?
Space operator with the...
space operator with the master in space.
Correct.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Space accountant, yeah. We're not going to get an answer on that. They'd be admitting to, you know, they'd be admitting to doing some stuff if they did that.
Well, people are going to know when there's spaceship. I don't know, but they're trying to be slick about it. I see what they're doing. So they're trying to be slick about it, you know. So, all right, so let's go into some defense news. It's Space Force news, but it's also defense news. So Let's start here. So Air Force, Space Force leading charge to new technologies. And I'm going to play the video that went around Twitter, the one that kind of went, I don't know, it didn't really go viral, but the one talking about us having, or the Chinese and Russia having directed energy weapons. So this is a big deal, you guys. Like, this is a super big deal. Like, them coming out and saying this and admitting to this. Like, we knew those fires were not just arson. And, but we didn't get any confirmation of it until this happened. So it was kind of cool to actually get some validation on that. New technologies are fundamentally changing the character of war, and the two Air Force services are leading the charge, Defense Secretary Dr. Mark T. Esper said at the Air Force Association Virtual Air, Space, and Cyber Conference Tuesday. In this time of COVID-19, try not to say that word. In this time of that 19, Esper addressed the group virtually. The secretary stated that America's air, space, and cyber warriors will be at the forefront of tomorrow's high-end fight. That means confronting near-peer competitors, China and Russia. That means shifting the focus from defeating violent extremist groups to deterring great power competitors. It means fighting a high-intensity battle that combines all domains of warfare, he said. In this era of great power competition, we cannot take for granted the United States' long-held advantages, Esper said. The last time an enemy force dropped a bomb on American troops was in the Korean War. China and Russia seek to erode our long-standing dominance in air power through long-range fires, anti-access area denial systems, and other asymmetric capabilities designed to counter our strengths, he said. Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a war-fighting domain. China and Russia have placed weapons on satellites and are developing directed energy weapons. Hold on, it's saying in this article, are developing directed energy weapons to exploit U.S. systems and chip away at our military advantage. So, but the video, so let's play the video real quick, because I could swear in the video, he doesn't say developing, he says has, right? So
you know they have them.
Of course, but I'm just saying, I thought in the video, okay, so let me, I'm going to hit Kofefe, okay? So we can play this. All right. Oh, if my mouse would go over there. Here we go.
Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage.
He said they have, let me unkofefe here. He said they have weaponized space. They have.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
that's a little bit different wording.
To develop anything.
That's right. That's a little bit different wording. So that's curious.
I mean, we've had that stuff up there since at least the 80s, right?
Right.
Of course they had. I mean, Russia at least had to have been right behind us. I mean, they're on some whole nother other stuff with regards to space at the moment too. I mean, obviously, I think China's the big issue, but Russia's definitely on some. I mean, some craziness at the moment.
That's a problem. We can't be having the CCP can't be having directed energy weapons. That's all bad for the whole world. That's just all bad. We got to get control of that. So thank God we have Space Force, because I shudder to think. You know what I mean?
Space is the new high ground.
I shudder to think. Let's see what the chat's saying. Jermaine says, I heard weaponized meaning done. Yeah, I'm on that train too. It's been done for a long time. So I don't know why. But anyways, we'll move on to the next. The next one, Space Force Chief, U.S. doesn't want war in space, must be prepared for it. The United States doesn't want to engage in warfare in space, but like in all domains, the U.S. military must be prepared for such a conflict. And that'll take a lot of preparation and change, Chief of Space Operations General John W. Raymond said. He said the U.S. does not want to get into a conflict that begins or extends into space. We want to deter that from happening. However, if deterrence fails, a war that begins or extends into space will be fought over great distances at tremendous speeds, Raymond said. Huh. Interesting. The chief of the newly created Space Force spoke during a presentation that was part of the 2020 Air Force Association Aerospace and Cyber Conference held this year virtually as a result of that 19 pandemic. To plan for warfare at speeds and distances required to operate in space, the Space Force must be lean, agile, and fast. The new military service has been working on all of those things since it stood up in December, Raymond said. A big part of the leaning effort, he said, is the reduction of bureaucracy. Interesting.
Oh, thank God.
Right? Since
we got enough red tape.
Right? Since establishment, we've been in the business of slashing bureaucracy, delegating authority, and enhancing accountability at every crossroad, Raymond said. My opinion, big organizations are slow. We must move at speed to outpace the threats that we face. The general said the Space Force, in an effort to reduce bureaucracy, implemented a large-scale reorganization that involved removing echelons of command, including a numbered Air Force and a 0 to 6 level command. We've also reduced the size of our planned staff at the Pentagon, Raymond said. Back when we started, the Pentagon staff was going to be over 1,000 people. That was the initial plan. We've slashed that by 40%. We're shortening the distance between decision makers and you, the experts conducting our mission. Also part of the eliminating bureaucracy, Raymond said, it is hard look at the agencies that exist now that are involved in acquisition for the space enterprise, he said. Congress has identified some 65 different organizations involved in space-related acquisition. So, yeah, I mean, we can speculate on what that means all day long, you know. But
I mean, you don't want to keep sending, like, every time you have to make a decision, you have to send it up the ladder and then wait for it to come back down. That's just too much. And, you know, he's talking about great speeds and great distances. Well, we've talked a couple of times about the platforms that they want to build up there to, you know, orbital weapons platforms and orbital supply platforms, so that instead of having to cross the surface of the Earth, if we've already got the supplies on these platforms waiting to be shot down to wherever they need to be, that makes it a whole lot simpler.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see where we're at here. Space Force official argues funding should match huge space responsibilities.
They need money.
Right?
Don't they all need money? Right?
Space Force official argues funding should match huge space responsibilities. Military space budgets will need to grow to adequately support air, land, sea, and cyber operations as global warfighting grows increasingly intertwined. And as the Pentagon solidifies its plans for offense and defense in the cosmos, a top Space Force official argued this week. If I was U.S. Space Command boss, if I was, I would certainly argue for a budget based on the size of the area of responsibility, because he's got a huge one to defend. Lieutenant General B. Chance Staalsman, the Space Force's Deputy Chief of Space, Cyber, and Nuclear Operations, said during the Air Force Association's virtual Air, Space, and Cyber Conference. The command is seeking $249 million in fiscal year 2021, while the Space Force wants $15.4 billion. That's a fraction of the other services funding. The Air Force, for example, requested $153.6 billion for 2021. Space Force and Spacecom argue that they don't need coffers as big or as many people as the others to accomplish their mission, something Congress was counting on when it approved the establishment of the U.S. Space Force in December 2019. But Salzman's comment underscores the central role space operations promise to play in future joint operations and foreshadows how the military space enterprise could negotiate with Capitol Hill to let it grow. The Department of the Air Force anticipates that as the Space Force matures, its spending needs to grow by $2.6 billion over the next 5 years. Procurement spending will nearly double from $2.4 billion in 2021 to $4.7 billion in 2025, largely because of the classified programs, according to Space News. Operations and maintenance is also expected to grow from $2.6 billion to $3.2 billion over the same time period, and personnel costs will exceed $1 billion in 2025. Officials believe research and development funds will fall slightly from $10.3 billion in 2021 to $9.7 billion in 2025. We've not put a lot of investment into either offensive or defensive systems in space where our competitors have. United Launch Alliance Chief Executive Officer Tori Bruno said, "There are niches where they're getting ahead. We've got to take big steps."
You know why they don't need a bunch of startup money, right? They already spent it. You asked where that $2 trillion went. I'd say that was probably it.
Right.
They just need to maintain what's already up there, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, of
how
course,
much
we
of that
need
you
new
think they
things.
actually have left to
If they already built, I mean, depending on what they already
I
built and
wonder
what they've
how
already
much
put.
I wonder how much money they can generate off that money that was spent, on technology. I wonder in what ways, because it's off the books. I wonder in what ways they can actually generate money with that. I mean, I don't know. That's only something
Well,
we could
this
speculate
is
on.
another thing, right? I mean, this is just the money that they're asking for directly.
Right.
What else are they going to get? I mean, it would be naive to think they're going to put everything on the books just because it's Space Force now.
Right. Well, we would hope moving forward they would, but only time will tell. Right?
We shall see.
It's only something we can speculate on, and I'd rather not do that. But you know me, I want to believe we're winning, and there's none of that
We are
shadiness
winning.
going on anymore. All right, so space news. We have ZAGE. Is that how you pronounce that? Security prepares U.S. Space Force cyber strategy. ZAGE Security, a Silicon Valley cybersecurity startup, announced a contract September 17th to develop, evaluate, and prepare a data protection strategy for the U.S. Space Force. ZAGE won $743,000 Phase 2 Small Business Innovation Research SBIR contract from AFWERX, the U.S. Space Force organization charged with spurring innovation. Under the contract awarded in June, ZAGE will help the Space Force address the challenge of securely connecting military and civilian satellites and ground stations in tamper-proof networks. So
Definitely don't want that stuff getting hacked. That's for sure.
no, we don't, and that's actually a real threat too. So I would think a lot of money's got to be dumped into making things hack-proof. I don't know how much of that has to do with the whole quantum computing thing though. So I haven't been able to really dig into that, but there's got to be a connection between the quantum computing and things being, unhackable. I would think, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, that's the speculation, yeah.
I mean, I would
That
think.
that it'll be near to impossible to hack, but I mean, what other
I don't have sauce on that.
ramifications
But
will come from that, right? Well, it definitely changes all of the probabilities. I mean, that'll make a big difference.
okay.
Not binary anymore.
Okay, and then we just have a Starlink launch here. Well, actually, one that got postponed. SpaceX will not attempt a Falcon 9 rocket launch from Kennedy Space Center as planned on Friday due to inclement weather conditions in the booster's Atlantic Ocean recovery zone. Standing down from the launch of Starlink due to severe weather in the recovery area, which is likely to persist for a couple of days, the company said late Thursday. We'll announce a new target launch date once confirmed. Had Falcon 9 launched as planned at 1:57 p.m., the rocket's first stage would have targeted an automated drone ship landing in the Atlantic about 8 minutes after liftoff. But just like weather has to be ideal for liftoff from Pad 39A, so to do at sea conditions for the booster, which previously targets, just read the instructions, ship hundreds of miles off the East Coast. That's the name of the ship.
What?
The just read the instructions ship. Seriously, is that the name of the ship or am I tripping?
That's what it says.
Wow, that's rich.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? How creative.
Right?
So what was it? The storms in the Atlantic?
Yeah, it's because the little ship, the just please use the instruction ship.
Right?
Yeah, they couldn't. I know, that's funny. It is. It's good.
That's funny.
All right, so let me see here. Okay, so we're almost done with our Space Force and SpaceX news. I think we have one more article we need to cover, and then we'll be moving on to science and technology. We didn't have a whole lot. Well, defense was kind of mixed in with Space Force this week. It was all kind of mixed in together. So.
Well, I got a couple of things for it. I got a few things.
All right, so let me cover this this last topic before we go into science and space news. When it comes to military launches, SpaceX may no longer be the low-cost provider. So on August 7th, the U.S. Space Force awarded contracts for Phase 2 of its long-running launch services program covering national security missions through 2027. United Launch Alliance and SpaceX were selected to provide the launch vehicles for over 30 missions, while Blue Origin and Northrop Grumman were not chosen. Space Force officials made clear that source selection was driven mainly by past performance. United Launch Alliance, with a 100% success rate over 2 decades, won 60% of the Phase 2 business. SpaceX won 40%. It was a major victory for SpaceX, vaulting it, as the Wall Street Journal observed, into an elite tier of military suppliers. SpaceX founder Elon Musk has been seeking this status for many years, and heaven knows his company has proven itself. In addition to introducing innovations such as reusable launch vehicles, it has managed to underprice even the Chinese in commercial competitions with its novel business strategy. Yeah. United Launch Alliance, which once enjoyed a monopoly of U.S. military launches, had to slim down and introduce a new family of more efficient launch vehicles to remain competitive. ULA is jointly owned by Boeing and Lockheed Martin, both of which contribute to my think tank. But along the way to its breakthrough win with Space Force on August 7th, something curious happened in the way SpaceX priced its services. The price for using its Falcon Heavy vehicle more than doubled from what Musk originally claimed would be the maximum cost. In 2018, he said the rocket would cost no more than $150 million to loft heavy payloads into orbit. But the award SpaceX received for the single mission in the first year of Phase 2 was $316 million. That's quite an increase. In fact, it's such a hefty price tag that SpaceX is getting almost as much money for a single Falcon Heavy mission as the $337 million ULA is getting for 2 missions. We don't know details about the missions because they're all secret, but industry insiders say that all 3 payloads are sizable and headed for geosynchronous orbit. It isn't clear how this remarkable disparity in pricing came about. ULA bid a new launch vehicle called Vulcan Centaur. What a cool name. That is said to be more efficient than its legacy Atlantis and Delta rockets. SpaceX bid some Falcon Heavy vehicle that in 2018 was priced at $130 million to loft another classified mission into orbit. So, yeah.
Well, I know SpaceX was involved in several lawsuits. As a matter of fact, a lot of these, a lot of the launches weren't being bidded out. Like, they weren't open to bidding from other companies, and he was cut out of a lot of things. So I would imagine when he finally got his in, he grabbed it with both hands. I sure would have. Right. They still have several active lawsuits right now, as a matter of fact.
I think I'm starting to understand his role and everything a lot better than I used to. And
oh, he's definitely a prominent player.
Yeah, how much they tell him, I don't know, but I just think I'm starting to understand his role. I think someone like him is absolutely necessary to this in the beginning.
Oh, without a doubt.
So it is what it is. All right, so we have, let's see, we're on to science, right? Or space now? Is Earth, moon, space the U.S. military's new high ground?
Yeah, I mean, this is really about a change in tactics. I mean, we've seen a lot of different things. We've seen the return of like crewed missions to space. So they're taking people up there now. We know that if you guys were listening last week, I think it was last week, I was talking a little bit about how NASA was trying to set a precedent for the purchase of, you know, space materials, in that case, lunar rocks. So we know a lot of companies are interested in mining in space. So they're going to need protection. I mean, we're not going to be the only people up there. I mean, obviously, we know Russia has a presence in space. China is very quickly gaining parity as far as everything and anything tech. I mean, they've almost got parity with us, even as far as space is concerned, although we've been up there. So, you know, obviously they're looking at space as kind of a new tactical high ground. And that's where you see a lot of people kind of tripping out. Like, you know, we don't want to have war in space. We don't want to have people thinking along the lines of war in space. But I mean, come on. If we're shuttling people back and forth between stellar bodies, or, you know, as they say, cislunar space, and we're collecting materials and bringing it back, or even if they're just collecting materials to use as fuel for ships and other things that they have up there, which is something that they've suggested, as far as like, you know, like mining water from the moon that they can break it down and use as a propellant for different things. I mean, they're going to need protection. And so they've really had to come up with kind of a new military doctrine when it comes to space, which is interesting. And there's been a lot of discussion about this. You know, in July of this year, they actually had a virtual workshop. that they brought together like 150 different people from government, from universities, from the military. It was held by New Space New Mexico, which is like a defense innovation unit that the Air Force Research Laboratory and the Space Force kind of went in together on, and they basically just broke down the challenges that they're going to see in space as far as controlling, especially like critical choke points. We're not talking about geosynchronous orbit anymore. We're passing between stellar bodies, and they're going to need to, like I said, they're going to need to be able to secure these resources. I thought it was kind of funny that they had a contest to see who could design like the best program for doing this, and somehow now they have the Cislunar Highway Patrol. I'm not even kidding. The CHPS.
Oh yeah, we got
short.
space cops.
Right, we got space cops.
We got space cops, guys.
Space cops.
Space mouse.
Right.
Now we got space cops.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry to you defund the police, folks.
Just wait till we have time cops.
Man, time cop, right?
Yeah, it's
with
coming.
the masters in space operators.
Right.
Time cop.
Right.
Space
Imagine
time
having
cop.
that title, time cop. I'm
Right?
a time cop. Yeah, I want to be a time cop. I might even trade that in for space operator. I don't know.
What about space time cop? I'm still with that.
Okay. I'll take that.
I mean, literally, like we need more like highway patrol. I mean, good Lord, it's the Cislunar Highway Patrol System. I don't know if it'll be. They didn't specify whether it would be like, drones, like artificially.
Lotus said space chips.
Right.
Can you just see them too on their little
respect my authority?
Their little flying car like motorcycle things, like space chips, just riding like right next to each other.
Right.
Yeah. You got that mental image, guys? I do. It's pretty funny.
Nope. I told you. My first love was being a space pirate.
Spatio-temporal specialist.
Yeah, spatio-temporal specialist. Right. Sounds like a plan to me.
Space pig. Julia says space pig.
Oh gosh, don't give him no ideas.
I love our space peeps. They have the strangest sense of humor, just like we do. It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, but long story short, they're trying to come up with ways to protect this new space-centric culture that they're developing. Like I said, I mean, we're not talking about stuff around the Earth anymore, or even low Earth orbit. They're talking about the space between the moon and the Earth, or even surrounding the moon. And actually, I had read something where the likelihood of an attack, like say they have, we were talking about how the Chinese and the Russians were building the directed energy weapons. Well, if those are automatically controlled from the ground, our space assets are not going to be being attacked from the ground. The smarter thing to do would be attack from some external orbit, some external place in space, like they said. So they need to have some sort of a patrolling system to make sure nothing's hiding, from the dark side of the moon, coming around shooting our satellites down, apparently. So I guess that's the goal.
Fearless said temporal troopers.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's great.
Super Troopers.
Yeah,
that was my favorite movie. Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
schnozberries taste like schnozberry.
There's going to be some really interesting new job titles in the future.
I know. I went in on the ground floor. That'll be great.
Well, we're space journalists. Is that what we are? I don't know if unless we can think of a better name, but yes, we are, right?
I still want to be a space pirate, but I'll do the news for now. It'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I can't even think of something fly to say with that. There is nothing. So I mean, believe me, my brain racked it, but I couldn't find anything. All right, so next up we have overnight defense. Trump administration moves toward Taiwan. Yeah, Pacifically, right, Kate?
Pacifically.
Yeah, Pacifically.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Overnight defense. Trump administration moves toward Taiwan arms sale. U.S. presses Russia for nuclear treaty concessions.
Yeah. Well, I told you this thing with China is getting to be a big deal. The CCP is angry. The United States has pretty much given official recognition to Taiwan, which has been a hornet's nest of controversy for the longest. China insists that they're still a part of mainland. Taiwan says they have independence. Well, Trump's about to sell them some stuff, a whole lot of stuff, like 7 packages, anti-ship missiles, different long-range missiles that would allow their jets to hit Chinese targets in the event that, the stuff hits the fan.
Wow.
I say Reaper drones. I know they're selling some Reaper drones. The drones themselves, they're talking about $600 million worth. And with what, I don't know if you have been paying attention to the news too much this week, but we had some official U.S. state visitors in Taiwan, and China was literally scrambling jets. Or China had jets flying around, and Taiwan had to scramble jets in response to the jets that the CCP sent because we had our people there. Like the situation is getting, it's Harry Carey over there, man. It's getting really tense. I mean, they're pushing up on India. China is testing the boundaries of all of its neighboring countries, and that's why we're turning to Russia now. Like I said in the beginning, Russia can't afford to have a strong China right there in the event that something happens. Russia will back US's play, I guarantee it.
Well,
it's a lot.
It's good, you know what I mean? Like the CCP is a major issue. So I mean,
well, Taiwan, they have been running a functioning government, a successful government. They have a good base in democracy. They have profitable and successful companies and infrastructure, and of course, China's right there trying to say that it's theirs. I can dig it. I mean, they're an island nation, so anything that they need, they're going to have to go elsewhere to get, kind of like Japan. And that's another thing. Remember, I told you last week, Japan and India have now signed a defense accord. Like, right. I don't imagine it'll be very long before this issue with Taiwan kind of takes front page.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's like a smaller example, but it's how it is in Hawaii. People be tripping. They're scared. Those ships don't come in. Hey, I could survive. I'd be fine.
That's right.
I got me some guns. There's pigs running around everywhere. There's chickens everywhere. And not that I eat meat. I don't eat meat. But if I had to survive and there wasn't enough avocados or guava, then I would just shoot the pigs and the chickens that run around everywhere, or go fishing. There's plenty of food in Hawaii.
Yeah, but how long? Think.
The people that live there actually panic about it. Like, if those ships don't come in with stuff,
starve.
Yeah. You won't starve. But I realize, like, when you live
on
an island,
if everybody had
dynamic.
To start taking the resources, it wouldn't last very long.
Right,
I mean, you got to think about it like this. And when I was studying anthropology during my undergrad, one of the things that was discussed rather frequently was, like, if you look at nations like England, right, like the UK, right, you don't have a lot of resources there. Japan, you have to go find things elsewhere. And if you notice through history, those sorts of nations, or even people that have like, say, Russia, for instance, where you've got a large part of the area that maybe isn't immediately accessible or doesn't have a big diversity of resources there. Those are the people that have to venture out and take from other places. That's where you see the Vikings, people leaving their homeland to get things elsewhere and bring them back. And it's made kind of like they make it look like the people themselves are warlike, but it's been that they had to go get their resources elsewhere.
Okay, so solar storms predicting the threat of a chaotic sun just got better.
Oh, well, good thing that they're getting their stuff together on this.
Here comes the sun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of which, is our space weather girl out there? Where's she at? We're thinking about you.
Yeah.
Space weather. We got this.
We got to get that together,
I know, right? That'll be great fun. Yeah. But so when they talk about space weather, they're talking about weather that's derived from the sun, things that happen with the sun. And basically, they published a study last week, as a matter of fact, in the journal. They call it AGU Advances, basically trying to predict coronal mass ejections and explaining how it's affecting our satellites. Like we were talking about, some of the solar satellites they have, if the satellites are out of range, we don't get the data, whatever. If there's a big coronal mass ejection that might shut our satellites down, that's a problem. So they're getting kind of to the point now where they're able to predict it a little bit better, and maybe they can kind of correct for these blasts. But they've also got a project they call the Solar Storm Watch Project. That sounds super fun, right? I want to get involved with that. In PA, where they're using different satellites to create this global network of storm watch alerts, basically.
Okay, so this next article is what the most eventful thing to happen well,
Oh my
no, a
God,
lot of
yes.
eventful things have happened, but in the space
Right.
world,
This was super exciting.
this is kind of exciting, guys. So,
Maybe, maybe there's life on Venus.
that's what they're saying
I don't know
now.
if you,
Maybe.
yeah. Now they didn't say we guarantee there's life on Venus, but what they did was they found something called phosphine in the atmosphere there. If you know the surface of Venus is like a hellscape. I mean, it's super hot, and they that life would not be able to survive on the surface. And then you've got the atmosphere that is more. I mean, the temperatures there run about 89 to 93 degrees. It's kind of similar to Earth. The only problem
Hold on,
is
Foil.
it's,
How do you remember the temperatures on Venus? Do you
I
have a
man, I don't
photographic
know.
memory?
Man, I remember almost everything I see. I remember
Whoa.
almost everything I see. Like, and it's just gotten worse recently. I
I
don't
can't
know.
even
I don't
remember
know.
my own name. I don't know how you do that. That was
I
amazing.
just
She just broke down the temperature of the atmosphere on Venus without even
well,
looking
I mean,
at a paper.
on the surface, it's hundreds of degrees. They assume life can't live down there, but they don't. I mean, there have been some Russian probes that got sent there, multiple Russian probes, as a matter of fact. But yeah, in the atmosphere is mainly sulfuric acid, and so they
Phosphine.
didn't think
Yeah.
there would. Yeah,
Go
they
ahead.
didn't think there would be anything there. There are big sulfur clouds.
Right.
Well, they for like 18 months they were monitoring the atmosphere in Venus, and they thought that they were like, phosphine, what is that doing there? Now on Earth, I think I told you this the other day, there are microbes that live in niches on Earth that have no oxygen, and they produce phosphine.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were able to confirm, and like I said, this was after like 18 months of research, they were able to confirm the definite strong, their test came back, there's a strong signal that phosphine was there. They got super excited because it's entirely possible that there is some kind of a microbial life that's excreting this stuff.
Right.
Now it would be weird because it would have to be able to somehow live in the sulfuric acid, which they thought was almost impossible. But I mean, when you think about some of the weird stuff we've been finding on Earth, they call them extremophiles, things that live in either extremely cold or extremely hot.
Look at the stuff they found in the whatchamacallit. What's that
Man.
pit in the ocean? The
Yeah, the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, they found all kinds.
All the way, the
Did you
pressures and.
Did you see the creature the other day that it didn't? I don't know what it was. It looked like an alien. I don't know. It was a black creature.
The tardigrades? Have we talked about the tardigrades?
No, I'm not talking about
need
those.
to talk about the
Yeah,
tardigrades.
those are cool. But this thing was like black, and it had like neon lights shooting in like panels. It looked like LEDs shooting up and down different parts of it.
Oh, they
You know what I'm
they
talking about?
Yeah,
That
I
wasn't
do.
CGI, right? I don't think it was.
No, there
That was
are
legit.
creatures down there that are able to photoluminescence, I think. They're able to create light with their bodies, and most of them live in these either really dark or really high pressure environments. And they came to find out recently that the patterns aren't that they like when you see them flashing those colors like that.
Yeah.
That those can be indicative of like a communication almost, which is kind of crazy. They've been trying to figure that out.
Hey, I'd
So-
rather flash lights at you than talk to you. I mean, if I
Man,
could
right?
if I could just flash some lights, and have a communication, like have a conversation and not have to talk, that would be awesome,
Man, right?
right?
Or just telepathy. Like, I mean, even just moving my mouth sometimes feels like way too much effort. I'm like, oh my goodness. If I could just beam you my thoughts, that'd be great, right?
Well, we're gonna get there. We're
But
gonna get
well,
there.
can I tell you about the tardigrades? Because I'm super excited about this. I don't know if you know about this, right?
Okay,
Do you know
I
Israel?
know about the tardigrades, but go ahead. Maybe there's people out there that don't.
Did you know that Israel sent some up on a capsule that crashed into the
yeah.
moon?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like probably random tardigrades running around on the moon now. Maybe that's where the moon goo came from. I'm just saying. All right, now we can.
Did you see that movie Life? That reminds me of that movie Life. Did you see that? That's probably like the last movie, a
Life?
Hollywood
You
movie.
say
I
Life,
watched.
and I'm thinking of like
Yeah,
Eddie
it's about
Murphy.
they find a life. They find a life. They find a creature in space, and it goes all bad. Yeah, it goes all bad. And
No, I haven't seen that.
It looks like a cute little guy, and they take him home, and they're like, "We found life," and like
Right?
it's
Yeah.
like this exciting.
Ended badly.
Yeah, and then it goes completely south. The whole thing.
Is it worth a watch? I'll have to check it out.
If you want to be completely freaked out, sure. I mean, I'm not into the negative
I'm
vibration
constantly
movies,
freaked out.
and I'm tired of them making out like all the ETs are out to get us and they're evil. So,
well, they can't all be bad, but they can't all be good either. There's got to be some.
They're not all good, but in the movies, there's
know.
always some monster that's out to eat
Well,
us,
yeah,
get
that
us,
is
hurt
true.
us, harm us. And in my experience, there's far more benevolent beings out there.
Well, there have been
then
some.
there
What was
are
the one with
negative
Jodie
ones.
Foster? Contact, like those weren't bad ones. You know, back in the day,
No,
Contact,
that's
Interstellar,
like the only movie I can think of where the extraterrestrials weren't bad. They were good guys, you know.
Well,
Or
what
we don't
about,
know they were good guys,
even
but they
in
weren't bad guys, you know.
in Stargate, they had the what is it? The little aliens. They look like grays. They weren't. It wasn't.
I never
Agartha.
watched Stargate.
It was.
I've been told I
What?
should. Yeah, I never.
Oh,
Look, I was a Star Trek person.
I'm so upset with you now.
and
You
then
know about the replicators or nothing? Oh Lord.
and then I just
we
quit
gotta talk.
TV altogether. Yeah.
Star Trek was awesome.
No, I watched Stranger Things. I watched some of that.
Stranger
show.
Things was
I
pretty
got
awesome
kind of
too.
into
Now,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was based off the Montauk Project. There was a lot of
right,
drops in there too.
we gotta refocus here. We're never gonna get through all this stuff here. We're funny.
Well,
how
back
we
to
get...
Venus.
Right, back
right?
to Venus. So Venus is a Russian planet, says Russia. This is interesting.
The Russians are super busy. You know, they're just taking over the U.S. and controlling our elections, and now they're claiming Venus. You know,
Right.
of all things.
Right.
Now, in all fairness, Russia has sent up numerous probes to Venus. They actually got one to the surface and was able to map some part of it. So yeah,
Russia has strong feelings about the planet Venus.
they have strong feelings.
I do
they
too.
They feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
They feel some kind of way. But yeah, Roscosmos, that's like the Russian NASA. They came out this week and said, yeah, that's our planet.
Because they want to be the
I guess-
first ones to discover life, or what? Is that why they're
it's kind of funny that as soon as we think there's something, you know, living up there, they're all over it. Like, that's ours.
right?
You know, I don't know what they plan on doing with those microbes. Making Venusian vodka, maybe. It'll be delicious, I'm sure.
With their tardigrades.
With the tardigrades,
Yeah.
right, and the moon goo.
Right.
Yeah, no, they just pretty much claim the whole planet. I guess they were like, you know, if you
No,
guys
they
are just going to
can't
claim the
claim it.
moon, we'll just claim Venus. We'll take Mars. Like, I don't know how they plan on divvying this stuff up, but
Space
Yeah.
Wars.
Space Wars.
Space Wars.
Right?
Yeah. So, okay, so China aims to operate regular space flights by 2045, officials say.
Oh yeah, commercial space flights. I told you this isn't just
2045.
about like, yeah, they want to go up there and colonize, but they're really building up their capacity for commercial launches.
Right.
Space tourism. They're trying to bring the cost down. They've got to the point now that they're building reusable rockets. You know, they as a matter of fact, last week I think they actually successfully launched and then landed a reusable rocket. So they're trying to step up their game. I mean, we've talked about that pretty much every week. They want to have a system in place by 2025, and then by 2030 they want to gain what they call parity with the United States as far as space is concerned, and then by 2045 they plan on taking tens of thousands of tons of cargo and passengers and whatever else to space. So we're gonna have the Space Highway Patrol, right? That's what the Cislunar Highway Patrol is for. Make sure they're not up there doing anything crazy.
It'd be a lot easier just to go through a gate. I'm just saying, you know, like.
I know, right? Save all the travel
there's a simpler
expense.
way to do it.
Right.
Okay, so.
I wonder if you get like a passport, like a Stargate passport.
Right.
Stamp.
I don't know how that works. They haven't allowed me to go through it that I can recall. So.
Well, when they tell you, make sure you
I'm
let me
looking
know.
forward to that day. Believe me. I'm ready for the Stargates. Okay, scientists find secret molecule that allows bacteria to exhale electricity.
How cool is that? Since we're talking about weird microbes and stuff, yeah, these things are they say secret molecule, but here's the deal: the Geobacter. It's not a new thing. They've known it was there. It's a bacteria that actually excretes or exhales electrons, and they've got this like long proboscis thing. I mean, they say it looks like a snorkel, but it's like a bunch of times bigger than the body of the bacteria itself. And normally that they can push it into their surroundings. These electrons, they actually exhale electrons through this nanowire that is like the proboscis on a mosquito, right? They generate current when they do this. So I mean, you can imagine the potential applications for this. I mean, using it to power things. I mean, if they could farm these things and then collect energy from there. That'd be kind of awesome. I mean, they're talking about using it for everything from biotech to, you know, powering different things in the sea. I mean, I think a couple of years ago they actually got it to enough electricity to power some sort of a space, or not space, sorry, a sea buoy, some kind of a buoy, and the stuff on the buoy, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
I mean, farms of bacteria, right? They
That's pretty
exhale
cool.
electrons.
That Stranger Things theme song just started playing in my head.
Yeah, they're little microbes. I mean, we're looking for alien life. We've got some weird stuff on Earth, for sure.
Yeah, that I'm with Fearless on this. That word proboscis just gets me every time. It's one of those words like that turns you into an instant two.
Well, I don't know what else. What do they call I mean, they call an elephant a trunk. You know, I mean, whatever. It's the thing that comes out, but this looks more like a proboscis, except it's a nanowire. You know, they want to use it to make bioelectrical tech for humans. You know, I don't know that I want any bacteria nanowires, but you know, the thought's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, it's up there on the. That probably should have been in the high strangeness list, friend. You know, that was.
Well, I did. You know,
that one was a little
it was
weird.
kind of sciencey to me. Yeah, but it's neat.
It's sciencey. Yeah.
Geobacter, right? They can make biofilms like this electrical conducting film. I mean, there are a lot of potential applications for this. And now they figured out how to make it even stronger, how to make their current stronger, how to make their nanowire work better, basically. Because of course they can't leave anything alone. They want to modify. They want to genetically modify everything.
Right.
So.
All right,
no luck for the bacterias.
Here come the asteroids. We might be skipping the invasion and going straight to the asteroids. 2 huge asteroids the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza are set to pass Earth over the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Well, not even just these two. These are 2 of the bigger ones. And in all fairness, I mean, when they say pass close to Earth, the one that's the smaller one is going to be like maybe 4 million miles out, and then the larger one, which I guess is about the size of the pyramid, is going to be like 1.7 or 1.8 million miles out. You know, I mean, the moon's 240 some thousand miles away, so we're talking about quite a distance, but it's close enough that, you know,
3.6 million.
Pay attention.
The smaller asteroid will pass by Earth on September 25th at a distance of 3.6 million miles, according to NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, which tracks and predicts asteroids and comets that will come close to Earth. The second larger asteroid will fly by on September 29th at a closer distance of 1.78 million miles.
These aren't the only 2, though.
The distance to the moon from Earth is 238,900 miles.
Yeah, like I said, like about 240,000 miles. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of asteroids about to pass by Earth, actually.
Are they saying that, or is it really going to happen? Like,
well, what they did is they started mapping near Earth objects, right? And they think that they have about 90% of the larger near Earth asteroids or near Earth objects mapped, right? And so when they find these things, yes, they're going to pass by in their orbit, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's, you know, going to come and usher in the apocalypse, so to speak. But I mean, they've got a good 20 or 30 that are supposed to pass by relatively soon, including election day, right?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the asteroids.
Yeah,
I've stated this before. It doesn't matter what they say. Number one, I think most of the time it's not valid. Number two, even if it was, we have friends out there with very advanced technology that I don't think are going to allow our utter annihilation. But, you know, I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, if you look in time span of the universe, these things hit frequently. But if you look at it from a human perspective, I mean, a big asteroid hits us about every 2,000 years.
Right.
You know, on average. So, I mean, the chances of it being an extinction level event, I don't know.
Right. All right.
I don't think we're all going to die.
NASA finds evidence of fresh ice on Saturn's moon on Saturn's moon. Enceladus. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Enceladus or Enceladus.
If anybody.
Yeah, but either way, this is another big thing. Possible life. That's
pretty?
Why they're watching.
Look at it.
Yeah, that's neat, right? There's warmth there. The exterior of Enceladus is frozen, but the interior, I guess, you know, it's liquid water. So clearly it's moving, and they think that there's a good chance that there may be life under the ice, which we've seen, like I said, the extremophiles on Earth that live high pressure, low temperature, they survive. I mean, it's entirely possible. So now we've got the potential for life on Venus. There are a couple other moons that are orbiting Saturn that are good potentials for life as well. But this is another big thing. They found fresh ice with their thermal imaging, quite a bit of it actually. And that's one of their goals, is to get out there and get some probes out there and see what's under the ice.
Sounds like a plan to me. I wonder
know.
what
Can
we're
you
going to
imagine?
find on our, we haven't even explored our own oceans on our own planet and our own,
We know
and our
less
own
about
inner
the
Earth
oceans,
cavities. Right? I wonder what kind of life we're going to find in there, you know?
I don't know. It'd be crazy.
Or what kind of life they're going to disclose that they found in there, I should say.
There's the question.
That's right.
But they keep telling us we're alone. Wouldn't it be crazy if we had life all around us and they just didn't realize it? Imagine that.
Yeah. For us to think that we have it all figured out, it really is like insane. It really is.
It's very
we're not that
prideful.
Evolved. Yeah, we're not that evolved.
You know, we think we've got it. Yeah, we think we've got it all figured out. You know, that's not how this works.
No.
You've got to continually be learning and continually revamping what you consider to be fact with new data. Correct. That's how science works. Absolutely. There is no settled science. You know, it's a constantly evolving thing that grows with data. I'm
anytime I try to stay as open as I can, because I know that I don't know very much and that there's so much more to learn, and I try to stay open to receiving new information and being able to assimilate that without having some sort of cognitive dissonance or belief system that I have in place that blocks me from actually learning something new. So I try to just stay in that dynamic of being open to new information all the time. Things are changing so rapidly too with information that you really,
I mean, that's the problem we're seeing with a lot of people now, is everybody, you hear them say the science is settled. The science is settled.
Yeah,
actually the science is never settled.
No,
science doesn't settle. That's why it's science.
And for
you
us
constantly got to renegotiate what you think you know with what you just found out.
And for us to think we have science, we have it totally figured out at this stage in the game, just blows my mind. It completely blows my mind. It's so egotistical.
Yeah, we're babies. We're universal babies, man.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, brain scanning backpack brings neuroscience into the real world.
Man, this is kind of creepy. I'm not even going to lie. So I don't know if it was here or on Conspiracy Couch when we were talking about mind.
Backpack. Look at that sucker there.
Man, listen, let me tell you something about this. Remember we talked about the fMRI? Yeah. And how they could use it as a lie detector, like a real-time lie detector. And then we were talking about how they were tracing the synaptic firings in the brain in order to be able to read thoughts, basically. Yeah. Well, now they've just made this a portable thing, right? They literally want to have neuroscience on the go. They literally want to use this to monitor how your brains change in real life scenarios. Like fMRIs, them are big, expensive machines. They're not portable. They've essentially made a portable version. So they can do their research while you're walking around doing your daily activity. They're scanning your brain. Now, of course, they say this is to help with diseases, post-traumatic stress or Parkinson's and whatnot. But that's just like Elon saying that, Neuralink is to help people that can't walk. We all know that the potential for something else is great, and it is there. I mean, this may start as trying to help with disease, but remember, they're scanning your brain as you're doing different things, and they're recording what you're doing as well. Being able to recognize those synaptic patterns will give them a better, better agility when it comes to differentiating thoughts. That's crazy to me.
Drink with Tessa said, that's how I try to be. I'll never know everything, so always looking to learn. Yeah, it's interesting too. I think we're not supposed to understand in this, whatever you want to call it, density, dimension, this part of our evolution, our experience. I don't think we're supposed to understand. I don't think we're supposed to get it all. There's clearly a veil, and there's clearly a veil for a reason. So I think, if you can get to any sort of understanding that's beyond what you're programmed to accept, you're really making progress. Because I think with the veil there, it's very hard to really get any sort of grasp on the way things really work,
Maybe the best understanding is getting a grasp on the fact that we don't know everything. Because there are a lot of people that are convinced that we know everything. But the really smart people are open to the fact that they probably know nothing in comparison to what there is to be known.
Right. Absolutely. So, Air Force flies six. Here we are getting to the space, or the not the spacecraft. I've always got spacecraft on the brain. Air Force
Right.
flies 6th generation stealth fighter super fast with digital engineering.
All right, there you go. Who
Yeah.
asked us about that earlier?
I'm not sure who it was that asked us about this, but it is
This is actually impressive.
It's a huge development. It could be called somewhat shocking. The U.S. Air Force has already built and flown a new 6th generation stealth fighter jet. An early prototype has secretly flown, according to the Air Force's acquisition executive, Dr. William Roper.
Ain't a secret no more, huh?
Right? Previously, it was not expected to emerge as a new operational platform until nearly 2030. Not anymore. Air Force senior leaders have discussed conceptual work, engineering progress, and even some component prototyping work on a 6th generation aircraft for several years now. However, news that an actual aircraft has already flown is truly surprising. Roper first broke the news to Defense News before repeating it on September 15th at the Air Force Association's 2020 annual conference. Speaking at the conference, Roper said a full-scale flight demonstrator has already flown in the physical world, adding that the program right now is designing, assembling, testing in the digital world, exploring things that would have cost time and money to wait for physical world. As quoted by the Hill newspaper, digital modeling has been a substantial emphasis for Air Force weapons developers seeking to leverage the best available computer simulation technology to explore configurations and technologies before bending metal. Wow. While next to nothing was known about the 6th generation aircraft, Roper has discussed the merits of digital modeling for quite some time. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is crazy because I was reading a different article about this earlier in the week, and apparently they were able to get this thing from conceptualization to testing within the space of maybe a year. Like normally when you're developing a new jet, maybe you've got maybe six or 7 years at least between having it on a concept board and then having a testable model. But they were able to do this, and it was either a year or maybe 18 months at most that they were able to get this thing in the sky. And they nobody was supposed to know, and the fact that they were able to keep it secret until just now is also amazing.
Big things
But
happening,
I guess
my
that's
friend.
why it's stealth, right?
Right.
We ain't supposed to know.
I think they're disclosing things little by little to, build up to
Well,
to get us up to speed in some.
China and Russia have recently gotten some pretty high-tech new fighter jets. And so, of course, we had to be working on something too. But the fact that they got this done so fast and successfully is really impressive.
Right. All right. So here we are into the part of the show where we dive into UFOs and high strangeness and disclosure and all the fun stuff. So I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter, but there was this UFO video going around that people were tripping on, and to me it looked like a blimp.
I mean,
it looked like a blimp. Okay,
there were thousands of people on the sides
I
of the
know.
road and stuff losing it. Like,
so
what?
We hate to break it to you guys, but
Dun,
wah,
dun, dun.
wah, 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 wah.
Right?
UFO sighting in New Jersey was actually just the Goodyear blimp. All right.
Oh no.
So yeah,
That's a letdown.
Yeah,
right.
Some New Jersey residents thought that they had captured footage of a real-life UFO on Monday night. Turned out it was just the Goodyear blimp. Several videos went viral on TikTok and Twitter featuring a UFO that was hovering over part of New Jersey and seemed to be glowing. The video showed many people had even pulled over onto the side of the highway to try and catch a glimpse of what they thought was a supernatural sighting from beyond Earth. One TikTok video had millions of views and more than 650,000 likes as of Tuesday afternoon. And wah, 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 it was just the Goodyear blimp.
Mr. MB333, he had it nailed down the next morning. Like he went on and found it on, what is it, Flight Radar or Flight Tracker or whatever it is, and he was able to trace the area where it was seen and determine that it was the blimp, and turns out it was.
Yeah, I kind of knew when I saw it that it was.
If you saw some of this,
but I knew it was
right,
a blimp, and I thought
some of the
likely
still shots were tricky. I mean, you saw the glowing blue thing, and like if they didn't have the angle right, like you could have thought.
You could, if
you know,
you're right.
you might have thought.
I get it.
Right?
Yeah. So, let's see here. Japan's defense ministry launches protocol for UFO sightings. Among UFO aficionados in Japan, summer is seen as the season for flying saucers. In mid-June, Japan's well-known UFO hotspots didn't disappoint after a mysterious unidentifiable white balloon with a connected cross-propeller-shaped object was spotted in the skies of northeastern city of Sendai and Fukushima Prefecture. The mysterious aerial object was observed at 7 a.m. and some witnesses say it resembled a hot air balloon. Japan's meteorological agency denied any observational equipment being dispatched by the agency. Miyagi Prefectural Police?
What?
Wow, that's an interesting name. Flew a helicopter to investigate the object but forced to turn around due to poor weather conditions. Police say that the aerial object disappeared without causing any danger to commercial flight paths. In December 2019, Fuji News Network, FNN, also reported capturing footage of an illuminating object in the sky traveling at tremendous speed in Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture. In late April, then Defense Minister Kono Taro announced plans to confirm a course of action in the event that Japan's Self-Defense Force, wow, that's kind of a cool name, Self-Defense Force.
Well,
SDF.
Since World War II, they're not allowed to have any proactive, like they can't have any attack forces. Everything has to be done in the name of defense. It was part of their agreement.
Okay, so Self-Defense Force encounters a UFO. Kono stated that while the SDF has not witnessed UFOs, the U.S. Defense Department's decision to release black and white footage of UFO sightings in April sparked concerns over Japan's national security. The new official procedures announced this week expect SDF to first make sure that they are seeing an unidentified aerial object, followed by taking written and photographic records to further analysis in addition to the collection of information provided by the public. At a press conference on September 15th, Kono said he hoped that the new policy would be viewed as collecting information rather than searching for unidentified flying objects from space. Kono emphasized that UFOs are indistinguishable objects, not objects from space. Kono revealed that he personally did not believe in the existence of UFOs.
Yeah, but we need to catalog them just in case.
And made clear that drones could be one possible explanation. And anybody that's seen one knows that is not accurate. Kono referenced the case of a 2019 drone attack on a Saudi Arabia oil facility by an unnamed flying vehicle and stated that it would be a lie if he had not kept drones in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. We have really advanced drones. They can probably do some kind of crazy stuff. But, I mean, at what point do you define a UFO? I mean, a UFO is just sort of a nomenclature, you know? But at what point, where's the boundary between a UFO and a drone, and a really advanced drone? Its propulsion system?
I hope they're not just going to try and use drone as scapegoat for everything now. But I mean, it seems like they're putting some credence behind it if they want a reporting system. And when he says the 2019 drone attack on Saudi Arabia oil facility, those were half-assed drones. Those weren't even the good things. Right. Those were cheap drones that had bombs strapped to them by local, not really even local, opposition militias. I mean, we do have advanced drones, but there's a great difference between the Tic Tac videos and
right. Right. There's got to be
even high level drones.
There's got to be I would say there's got to be a speed separation there. I would say the propulsion system, as well as there's got to be a speed separation. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, what to you is the difference between a drone and a potential UFO? Okay, so the Pentagon has creates a UFO task force.
A lot of tasks for a lot of new reporting
UFO
procedures, a lot of task forces. Yeah, every country's kind of getting on board. They can say it's drones all day, but I mean, we see what they're they're putting the infrastructure in for the reporting.
Look at the little. This is what I'm talking about the mainstream media.
Mars attacks looking.
Why do they have a negative, evil looking Mars attacks looking dude on the front of the article? Like, I am so tired. I'm just gonna say this. I am so tired of the psyop. I am so tired of the joke. It's not funny anymore. We know that they're real. We know we have advanced tech. it's not funny anymore. Number one, is it not funny that everything has to be made out to look like a cartoon, like it's some kind of joke? Because it's not a joke. It's anything but. Number two, why is it that every single portrayal of an extraterrestrial has to look like some sort of horrible creature, demonically possessed creature, some kind of
come eat your children out of their beds at night, right?
Like, this is ridiculous. This is in military times, no less. Military times. Okay. So, sorry. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Like, I'm really so tired of it. Like, we're trying to give you guys all the Space Force news, SpaceX, science and technology, kind of tie it all together. And, of course, UFOs are a big part of that. Disclosure is a big part of that. And these it's interesting to me how even though the Department of Defense has come out and talked about this stuff, it's still some kind of joke to the media. Like, they still think that this is okay. It bothers me. It does. It bothers me. I don't like it. And it is what it is. So, and then look, even the wording, how they go into things here. They're trying to scare us. Don't let them scare you.
The concern is out there.
I wrote like a little mini thread on this on Twitter because I got so pissed when I saw this. Like, the concern is out there. Pentagon officials on Friday confirmed the existence of Navy-led unidentified aerial phenomena task force that will monitor ongoing encounters with strange aerial objects and determine whether these phenomena should be perceived as a threat. Should be perceived as a threat.
Well,
they're
if they're
already
trying
seeding
to
our
determine
consciousness with the fact that they're a threat. And then look at the threatening alien they have on the cover. Like they're seeding the consciousness with this, that it's a threat. So, approved on August 4th by Deputy Secretary of Defense David L. Norquist, the task force was officially launched to improve its understanding of and gain insight into the nature and origins of UAPs, according to a Friday evening news release. The mission of the task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security. And, like, I get that. Like, I completely get that there's going to be tech that other countries have that is a threat to us. I understand also that I'm not saying that all the ETs are good guys, okay? That there are negative ones, and there are ones with agendas. And
I mean, we blow stuff up. There's got to be some...
Right. But overall, there's a very clear psyop going on the public that you should be afraid of all ETs. They're all negative, and they're coming to eat your children and hurt us. And
I'd like to point something out too while I'm thinking about it. We talked last week about how they switched from UFO, unidentified flying object, to UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Right. I have a theory, right? Calling something an object denotes that maybe it's a physical thing, but when you call something a phenomena, you're giving it more of an ephemeral understanding. Like, that's potentially true. If you're using a tech spaceship, it's tangible, right, physical stuff, that would probably be an object. But if we're talking about interdimensional portaling of maybe a being that doesn't even need tech, now that's something we could call, right, yes, unidentified aerial phenomena. Right. And that's just my personal theory, but I was thinking about that last week after we talked about it. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, you just saw Alara get triggered, so there it is. It doesn't happen very often, so, yeah. All right, so, on to Pennsylvania. So, I came across this, boy, I don't even think I told you about it before I added
I
it
haven't
to the
seen
description.
That, but I'm with you.
So, Pennsylvania cities and towns with highest rate of UFO sightings. I thought this was interesting. The skies of Pennsylvania appear to be packed with unidentified flying objects. Pennsylvanians haven't reported sightings at anywhere near the rate of the top reporting city in the country. Residents of Gila Bend, Arizona, about 470 miles west of Roswell, New Mexico, since 1914 have reported UFOs at a rate of 1,193.89 per 100,000 people. Ooh. Pennsylvania's top reporting city, Westchester, has seen a rate of 154.63 UFO sighting reports per 100,000 people in that same period. The Insights team at True People Search, an online people searching service, did an analysis of the National UFO Reporting Center's database of more than 80,000 unidentified flying object reports from 1910 to 2014 in the U.S. and Canada to come up with the rates that could be compared across cities in similar areas. Westchester ranked at number 31 on the resulting list of 447 cities. Other Pennsylvania cities on the list are York, 79.33 reported sightings per 100,000 people, ranked at number 77. Harrisburg, 73.13. I'm not going to read off all the numbers, but while the rankings are based on the calculated rate of reported sightings per 100,000 people, the actual number of sightings reported in the Pennsylvania cities were Westchester 31, New York 35, Harrisburg 36, State College 28, Lancaster 35, Erie 49, Reading 42, Pittsburgh 119, Allentown 42, and Pennsylvania 121. So
I am not going to be far from there next week. Maybe I will have to
the top
make
the top reporting cities across the U.S. were Gila Bend, Arizona. And you know what's funny? I could have told you that without even looking at those numbers. I'm not going to go into why, but I've driven around the state of Arizona and I've gotten impressions. I get impressions, right? I won't really go into this much, but that's one of the places I've gotten a very strong impression about.
There seems to be a lot of sightings in the West.
It doesn't
out
trip
west
me out whatsoever that Gila Bend, I don't know what people call it exactly, but anyway, so Surfside Beach, South Carolina, 671.
Ooh.
Sedona, Arizona at 667. Sonora, California, 554. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 507. Cumming, Georgia, 486. Ocean City, Maryland, 389. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 380. And Lincoln City, Oregon, 354. Interesting, right?
I had a 30-minute long sighting one time driving to South Carolina.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What happened?
It was, I think it was, well, I'm pretty sure it was one of ours. It was a triangle craft. I didn't recognize it as an Astra at the time. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time. But for about 30 minutes, I was driving it, and I had it in full view. As a matter of fact, it was crazy because there were so many car accidents on the interstate. And but I was able to, I had a video of it. I don't know. It was on one of my older phones, but I was able to film it for a good, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. I had eyes on.
What happened to the footage?
Shot off. It was probably on one of my older phones. I think maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I don't even know.
It'd been nice if you could have kept that.
I wasn't really. I was somewhere else in life at that. I wasn't really thinking about that, but I did film it, and it was crazy. But it was definitely a triangle. I think it was one of ours. Now that I think about it, it had to have been one of ours.
Suiterbug says there are some vortex energies coming out of Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly right. There's a lot of military. There's a lot of, if you look at the maps of DUMS, there's a lot of that sort of thing. And there
are natural vortices too.
They're all natural vortices too. So we got it coming out from all angles in Arizona. And I believe that's why there's so much weird stuff going on here. We've covered all our articles, but I wanted to show you guys real quick. I don't know how many people follow me on Twitter, but I just wanted to show you that I did this thread. If anybody's interested in going and checking it out that's unaware of this, a lot of you probably are aware of this, but for those that aren't, it's definitely worth checking out. So I wrote a thread today on DIA research. I believe somebody Dr. Sala has been talking about this for quite a while, and this has been known for quite a while, but I decided to make a thread on it because I think it's really important. So the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, used $22 million in funding from 2007 to 2012 to research stargates, wormholes, extra dimension manipulation, and a whole lot more. So, and the thread kind of breaks down the list of products produced by the DIA contract includes 38 areas of research that was funded under the ATIP, many of which come from Earth Tech International. And then I copied the full list and numbered them. But there's all kinds of crazy stuff in here, you guys. Like
a lot of good research she put into that.
Like traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. Let's see. There's concepts for extracting energy from the quantum vacuum. We've got, warp drive, dark energy, and the manipulation of extra dimensions. I mean, all of these are just super, super out there. And it's just, I don't know, if you're not educated yet on that whole research project and all the stuff.
Did you see the stuff? As a matter of fact, this kind of ties in with your thread. Did you see the stuff that I had stuck in the Space Force News? I said I'm saving it, putting this there for later, where the CIA had declassed a bunch of documents on, I don't know, it was like time travel and astral projection and stuff. I had saved all the links there for you too. If you have some time, go on to the Space Force News account and look in the messages. I put it there just to have somewhere to stick it.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Boy, that was a lot of news we went through, Foil.
Woohoo!
That was a lot. That was a lot of news we had to cover. So anyway, I think that's about it for the show, and it looks like we're running at almost an hour and a half, 5 minutes till.
Well, next week, you can tell them about next week. I'm not going to be here with you guys.
So, next week, Foil is going to be out of town in an event. So Tyler Koala from Journey to Truth podcast will be filling in for her. So it'll be me and Tyler will be co-hosting with me on Space Force News. What else? The Pink Patriot.
I was going to say, IET this week.
Pink
is that
Patriot podcast on the Kate Awakening channel, which is every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. This week, our guest will be IET. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be very exciting, and I'm sure that'll be a very interesting conversation. I don't even think he's done an interview before. I saw him do like a decode once on True Reporting, but I don't think I've ever seen him do an interview. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Looking forward to that. What else? Today's Sunday. Oh, Kate will be on Keystone tomorrow. Please put the time in the chat, Keystone, of what time your show, her Great Awakening Mondays, goes on. Anyway, her Great Awakening Mondays goes on sometime in the afternoon. She's going to post the time in the chat. And then directly after her is White Hat. And if you guys haven't had a chance to check out White Hat, he's awesome.
Uplifting.
He's very uplifting. He prays for people. He's very good at teaching people that are kind of new to the Q thing. He covers a lot of different stuff, and he has a good thing going over there. So give White Hat, check him out if you haven't had a chance to check him out yet. And I think, does that cover it? I think
guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Our links are in the description below. You guys can donate to Space Force News Live at loyaltothefoil.com, also in the description below. Make sure to meet us here next Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of Space Force News Live. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay loyal, friends.
One more thing. Somebody asked me about Conspiracy Couch. I think we will be doing we're trying to doing it like twice a month. So I think we will be doing Conspiracy Couch this week. So when we do it, it's 10 p.m. Is it 10 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
Okay,
10 Eastern.
10 Eastern on Thursday night. So that would be directly after Journey to Truth, which I believe goes on 2 hours before. I need to get those times straight. Anyhow, thank you for bringing that up. It's been really super awesome to be here with you guys tonight. We love you, Space Peeps. You're super
Much
awesome.
love.
Yeah, and we will see you next Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are your news in this dimension and the next. Good night.
Peace out, cosmonauts.
Good night, cosmonauts.